fight your demons. I think this is a really great time if you can. I mean, everyone's demons are different, of course, but if you got demons, childhood trauma, try and work that out. Get some therapy, do whatever you got to do, because like this is a time to like grow. Like this, I think this is a growth time. Like, and it's a time that no one else has gotten in the history. Like at least the last 100. Technically, right now, it's never happened before. Because if this happened 100 years ago, I'd be cheesed. You know,
Hey guys, welcome back to the High Morale Podcast. I am your host for today, Jordan, and with me I have my usual two suspects. We got Michael.
Hey, what's up, guys? Headphones Michael here.
And Arvin.
What up, guys? It's Arvin, what's up?
And today with us, we got a very special guest replacing Patrick, finally. We got a good friend of mine, Andrew Barnswell. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself, man?
So that explains the Barney from Barnswell. People call me Barnz, Barney, Barnsworth, Barnes Noble. I got the whole thing.
Barnes Noble, nice.
Yeah, I got all those weird nicknames. I honestly just respond to anything at this point. But yeah, I just started in Scarborough, Ontario, born and raised. Finally got out of Scarborough. Kind of moved to Markham just recently. Actually during the pandemic. Might be out of Markham soon, but yeah, that's pretty much what I'm up to. Fitness professional, personal trainer for about almost 6 years now, and started a quarantine candle business.
Nice.
My girlfriend,
Yes,
Cozy Candles. Yeah,
I like that.
Nice.
And if you guys would be so inclined, we will have all of his socials down in the description below. And probably on screen, I'll throw up some Cozy Candle posts right here.
Right there,
yeah,
over here.
Yeah, do it up.
So on this podcast, since you're new here, we have a thing called the OBJ. So it's basically our topic for today's podcast. And so today for our OBJ, it's kind of just getting to know a little bit more about you and about all these hustles that you're doing, these side hobbies that flourished into creating your own business type of deal. And
Gotcha.
I guess to start out, I would definitely want to get into the Cozy Candle thing, because as I said,
I'm so curious. Like, I'm always curious about people who start their own business and the process of it. So I just want to know more about it.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've always been, started even before Cozy, I've always been pretty entrepreneurial myself. Even when I was a kid, I was just trying to find ways to hustle and grind, like just trying to, snow shoveling businesses, trying to think bigger than just snow shoveling. Like, always looked at it like a per hour basis. I'm like, you know what, like if I can make $40, for one driveway, but I'm able to do it in a certain amount of time, I'm able to double that. And then eventually I wanted to invest that into a snowblower so I could get it done even faster. Like, kind of always had that mindset.
Yeah. Like that's snowballing effect.
Yeah, pun intended, I guess. Just definitely wanted to get that going. And I also DJ'd for a little bit too. Back then, though, I didn't reinvest. And also when I was a kid, I didn't reinvest. Obviously, I just took this, the snow money and turned it into candy. And then DJing, just, try to get girls with the money, then that didn't really work too well. But the candle business now, actually reinvesting it, and when you start to reinvest in that business, you start to really see that growth happen, right? And we just started watching a bunch of Shark Tank at the beginning of quarantine, and then eventually, like, hey, let's try something ourselves. But first it was a hobby, and then we did it, and it was pretty cool. We studied up on it, learned everything, and then we just launched our first can. I have one right here. They just launched like a 4 ounce. This actually wasn't our original container. It was actually a lot crappier, just really broken. But yeah, we just launched our 4 ounce and just say, let's start off with something. And then we launched another. And then we just recently launched like a few others as well. Let's get a quick shout out to the wax melts.
Yeah, shout it out.
Yeah, sure, man.
Wax melts, car diffusers.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, I saw the car diffusers. The car diffusers, yeah.
Car diffusers has been a bop. We're also gonna get reed diffusers going too, because a lot of people are trying to, ask us for flameless scent. They don't want to, some people like the fire or whatever, so it's cool. So the car diffusers have been super popular. Just getting a different kind of diffuser, and honestly, I've always been a candle person myself, and same with my girlfriend. So we're just like, oh, it'd be pretty cool to make these candles. Like you always sniffing around at stores and stuff, but you always wish you could kind of like put something
have
into
your
it.
own.
So,
Yeah.
True, so we started bringing in those scents, and it's been pretty awesome ever since. Like it just started growing and growing, and Christmas season was a great time to launch, to be honest, because you really get to see and feel out the market. Yeah, it's been pretty solid, and ever since then, it's just been like more popular than we thought. Like, it's crazy.
For sure. I know for when I first, so I went to these guys, I'm like, yo, I want to get this guy on. I want to get Andrew Barnz on.
Yeah.
And I showed them the candle thing, and then I know immediately Armin's like, I have candle questions.
Yeah.
So
See if I can
what we
answer
got?
man. Candle questions. Candle questions. Just out of curiosity, what in your, I guess, from what you sold, like what's your best seller, just fragrance wise? If that's-
Fragrance wise, I would say more of like the summery, like fruity stuff, right? Like, it's not if you can see that right there. I don't know if that's in verse, but the Pretty Peach Bellini, which is, you know, a combination of mango, fruit. I think that one's been like pretty much a year-round seller. Like, and even people who hate fruity smells love it. So I think that's where we really hit, you know, a really good scent, because a lot of people are really specific with their scents. You know, it triggers a lot of memories. You know, hits the olfactory nerve, and you start thinking about childhood, or right, good or bad depending on your childhood was. But yeah, like I think the Peach Bellini has definitely been our just top seller. Coffee cake has been pretty good, but the problem is the cinnamon kind of makes people lean more towards the seasonal Christmas side.
Yes.
But I think, you know, having just more complex scents, it's just, even for me, before I even made candles, I always loved smelling candles that like it hits you with like so many different things. It's not just, you know, you're smelling it, it's just chocolate. Like, it's just a bunch of layers, you know, having the top notes, the heart notes, and the base notes just hit you differently every time you sniff it. I think that's what, you know, what makes the candle super popular.
Nice.
That's interesting that you bring up like scents hitting the olfactory nerve and then like bringing you back to a certain place, because I'm really sure I read up on that, like smells is one of the most like memory triggering things, like out of the five senses. Like, 100%. You know, when you listen to a certain song, you might think back to a certain memory and stuff like that. Sure. But like scents apparently are like one of the most triggering out of all of them.
Yeah, scents, and then also that's related close to taste, and that's why taste and smell are so like, you know, put your childhood, you'll smell like McDonald's play place and immediately be thrown back to being inside of it. You know what I mean? And
the plastic,
you know, yeah, you got it. That plastic, whatever else is in there, old socks, kids who beat themselves. You know, like the good old. And it's weird because some smells you smell and it reminds you of things that like maybe were bad memories, and then sometimes the smell of old socks and plastic somehow gives you excitement just because you remember all the good times you had, you know, playing Mario Kart Double Dash right after, you know, the whole thing.
So what you're saying is that's the new Cozy Candles flavor scent. Plastic.
Yeah,
McDonald's
go with memories, but that's why we stayed away from memories, because memories are so selective. Like, old socks might remind someone of something completely different.
That's true.
And I didn't want to call something grandpa's backyard, you know what I mean? And then they're like, what the hell? My grandpa's backyard didn't smell like Jamaican patties. Like, you know, so that's why we kind of just stayed away from that. You know, leave it more to interpretation. When people smell our candles, there's one, we have a sweet vanilla, and people will be like, yo, like, that smells like Dunkaroos. I'm like, shit, I didn't smell that, but now that you said that,
you're right.
Like Dunkaroos frosting.
Yeah. Like, whenever I think of vanilla, it's just the Dunkaroos. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure if I smell that, I'm gonna have that nostalgic feeling of Dunkaroos, third grade meeting Jordan for the first time, you know?
So,
yeah, third grade, in fact.
What's your favorite scent that you've made? Like, did you ever make a scent like, oh man, this is a banger? This scent's like, I'm so excited to release this scent.
Honestly, I would say like the coffee cake and like the blue raspberry, like those kind of two. We're very in cozy coffee cake. Like, those two are just like, they're nostalgic, they're comforting, they're warm, they're different. I think those are the ones that are really. I think those ones hit the most, to be honest. Overall, the lemongrass is pretty good too. It's more therapeutic. If you want to go more for a spa vibe.
Ooh, that's true. Yeah. So I have a question. So you said how you started this business during the pandemic because, you know, the stay-at-home orders and stuff like that. What was your greatest obstacle while creating this business?
Honestly, that's a good question. Like, in terms of the pandemic, or just in general, or
in general.
In general, I think that the biggest obstacle, honestly, is like continuing, like the momentum, like building a momentum. You know, eliminating that self-doubt. Because I think the self-doubt starts to sink in. I'm also trying not to just be everybody else. Like, just be yourself, right? I think when you start trying to be everyone else, that's when that's when, you just kind of lose your way and you lose your brand, because your brand is you, right? And kind of just having that brand awareness and just kind of continue with that. I think that was like one of the biggest obstacles, and a lot of self-doubt. And honestly, I was probably my worst enemy. Luckily, I think, like with my girlfriend, like we have like pretty opposite personalities. Like she's more, a realist. She's more of like a,
Ooh,
go-getter.
good.
I'm a bit more of a dreamer. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm more the creative, and she's more rational and like, okay, what's happening now? I'm thinking about like the business 10 years from now. And she's like, okay, we don't even have a name yet. Like, why are you thinking so far? So having her really helped grounded me, and then I also helped get some creativity there, because trying to think outside the box there. Like even for example, like selling candles online is really hard because people can't smell it, so you have to really portray a smell. You're going to be really distinctive, or even like with pictures, like the pictures, so people see a coffee cake, so at least hopefully that triggers something. But yeah, I think the biggest obstacle really is just, to be honest, not to be cliche, but it really was myself, just like getting started, doing it, believing in yourself, believing in the business, and just kind of not taking too many steps, but taking a step, right? Not jumping too far ahead. I think some people jump way too far ahead, put their whole life savings into it, and then they get angry that they don't get their money back in 2 days. But just taking small baby steps and just try it out. Like if you like it, you like it. You don't.
That's true.
I mean, that's interesting that you talk about like the brand and trying not to compare yourself to other people, because honestly, as I'm sure everyone who is kind of aware knows, Instagram's basically a marketplace now. You know what I mean? So it turned from sharing photos into being able to sell yourself. And I know that you're not a stranger into selling yourself, because you are in you get your you have an entrepreneur side, and that also stems from being in the fitness industry, because you also have a your fitness side going, and you were trying to build you were building your brand of be fit, be well. And so I would just want to know about kind of your take on trying to insert yourself into like these niche areas using Instagram, because I feel like Instagram is such a big tool for these types of things, like for advertising, for marketing and all that stuff, for like networking, connections, getting your name and product out there. But what were some of your thought processes going into creating these brands and putting them out there on Instagram specifically?
To be honest, in the Instagram world today, I think the Instagram world of like a decade ago was more all about perfection. Like how perfect can your picture be? How perfect can your post be? Everything has to look like crisp, and you have to look your best. Gotta get a haircut just to go on Instagram Live. But I feel like now it's the complete opposite. Now I feel like people want real, because like they want the opposite of what everyone else is doing in some ways. Kind of like build traction. I think just being organic and being like just straight up yourself. They want to see the mistakes. They want to see the realness. They want to see you're being genuine. Be consistent on Instagram, but not too consistent, in my opinion. Some people, I think they're almost too consistent. Like they're posting like pretty much just spamming your feed. And I don't think that hits the algorithm. I think the algorithm pretty much just sees you as spam and just puts you at the end. But, just being consistent enough and having, for me, how I always thought of it in terms of like Instagram posting and just in general, like I think about like KFC, right? Like every Tuesday you're thinking about KFC, or, you know what I mean? Like they kind of get you on, or even McDonald's back in the day, like I still remember that Wednesdays were, I think it was McChicken, right? McChicken Wednesday. So like just kind of having some kind of something to look forward to. Like if there's like you guys have the podcast every Thursday, you know what I mean? Like every Thursday, like someone to look forward to, like to go build that habit and get people Wednesday night getting hyped up for it, and coming on there. It doesn't have to be every Thursday either. It could also literally be like every other Thursday. Just something where there's some kind of consistency. And I think this, looking at it from like even like when TV was super popular, like it was like Big Brother was like on like Sunday, Wednesday, Thursday. There was times where I used to just like cancel all my plans to watch Big Brother. So I think like building up that kind of hype and that kind of consistency and loyalty, and just getting genuine followers. Because at the end of the day, like it's cool if you have. I know Instagram changed their algorithm recently, where it used to be all about likes, and now it's more about engagement. And I know they really, really, really loved, like having a bunch of likes, but then now it's actually better to just get better, more consistent engagement and organic followers, especially in the business realm. You want the people to actually want to consume your thing. You're not going to have people, your follower count's not going to be fluctuating, because there's people who are actually interested in what you have to offer. You know what I mean? Like they're not going to leave after seeing 2 posts of your podcast. They're like, yo, I'm here for podcasts. I'm here for,
Yeah.
I have a question. So I guess when you were starting, did you ever have the problem, or I guess dilemma of like what do I focus on? Like just being different, or being consistent versus like I guess upping your quality in terms of your product and your brand. Like where do you draw that line, like, and how do you differentiate like what's important at that given time?
Honestly, I kind of look at it. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Pretty much just trying to see like how do I like navigate this, this online space without getting lost in the sauce. And I think a lot of people do get lost and they lose themselves. So I think going into it, just knowing who you are, what's your main objective, like what are you trying to get out of this? Like for Be Fit Be Well, like I started an Instagram page because I was tired of just being on social media and seeing all these stupid infographics that were extremely one-sided. They're usually just like a bunch of false dichotomies, like you're either eating this or that, and I got caught up in that. So I got caught up in a cycle of a bunch of yo-yo dieting and not understanding that like you can eat this or you could do this nutrition plan and not be super strict about it. Like you don't have to do like this intense keto, intermittent fasting craziness, right? Like, and I used to fall for all that stuff, right? And to the point where one time the keto, I ended up getting like a liver infection somehow. I don't even know how. Doctors don't even know. Got a liver infection and my skin started shedding. So I'm like, okay, that's the last time I'm doing keto. But yeah, that's a fall for the feds. And I just wanted to provide information. I think like-minded people will follow you and anywhere, whether online or offline, just like-minded people will follow you. And then like-minded people will also be able to tell if you're not actually like-minded. Because eventually, if you're not super into sports and you're talking about sports, eventually it's going to catch up that you don't know what the hell you're talking about. So it's better just to be authentic and be yourself, because people will want what you have. And people liked my approach to fitness where it was like, you get to have more of a balanced lifestyle, because honestly, I love to freaking eat. You know what I mean? Like fitness has helped me not become 400 pounds, but I love to eat. I love, I don't want it to be super extreme. And you don't have to have a 6-pack or a 4-pack or even a flat stomach in some cases. It's more about like, what can you do? How do you feel? Do you look better? Like, are you in control of your health? Are you in control of your life? Like, I think that is way more important. Instead of like, those crash diets just to look good or just to have a number on the scale.
Okay.
Definitely.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yes. I was a big fan of your Be Fit Be Well page. I thought it was a much needed light change, whatever you will see on the Instagram, because at the time we were both when we were both in the fitness industry, I remember my explore page was just like all the same. It all looked oversaturated with the same kind of content. Everyone just kind of regurgitating each other's posts and stuff.
It's an echo chamber, right? You just get a bunch of echo chamber with a bunch of infographics. Like everyone's just sharing the same infographic and changing the filter. Like, that's kind of what it feels like.
Yeah. So with you coming out with like kind of like a different approach, just being like, I would say a real approach. Like you were, I felt a lot of your personality and just genuineness coming from the stuff that you wanted to put out, like for what you said, that just being actually informative,
be authentic, informative, caring, and then also like I love analogies too, like, and just understanding where your audience is, right? Like I think analogies are pretty awesome, and just making fun, creative new sayings, just saying things differently. Like in general, I've always said things differently. Like English teachers kind of hated me for it during essays, because my writing would look more poetic during an essay than anything, and very outlandish. But I feel like that portrays really well for teaching, for personal training. It's a lot easier to remember something if even when I'm doing personal training, like I'll tell people when they're about to do like a dumbbell pullover, I'll do Illuminati quickly, and they'll never forget that. You know what I mean? They'll never forget, like, what the hell, like Illuminati, or telling certain things, or if they're doing like a calf raise with their toes in, I'll tell move like a Japanese schoolgirl. I'll just say some stuff like that, and it sticks forever. So I think like that's like a really great teaching tool, and it also makes you stand out a little bit too, right? You can get some really cool things to probably put on a T-shirt one day.
That's true. That's true.
It's funny you say that, because just going back to the whole being relatable thing, just kind of leveling with, I guess, your athlete or your client. I just brought me back to like my recent test that I did like 2 days ago, where we kind of have to explain to our professor how to do like a certain exercise, or like how to perform like a certain kind of therapy move. And I was just thinking, like, if I was one-on-one with an athlete or a patient or whatever, like the way I would explain it to them would be so different to how I would explain it to my profession, like the way that they teach us, right? Because it's so very by the books. But in the real world, it's not usually the way it never is usually the way it goes. Like when you're speaking to your athlete, you kind of want to speak to them just like as a human, right? As opposed to just speaking to like a robot or your professor, where they would want to hear everything like perfectly, down by the book. But if I'm speaking to an athlete, I might not speak. I'm not going to speak ghetto to them, but I'm going to speak like how I would speak to a friend, because I feel like that would create like this level of comfort between us, and they would feel again like that relatability. So it's funny to see that it just brought me back.
I mean, the same point, yeah. You want to match where they are, right? Like,
yeah.
And sometimes that actually, like, being yourself is one of the best things that can. If they have a business oriented environment, they don't want that professionalism, like to that level. You know what I mean? Where you're just talking like you're talking to an elder. Like sometimes they want you to be like yourself, like just completely you, while giving that good knowledge.
It's also like building that rapport with the client, right?
Exactly.
And they do appreciate that. I do find. But actually, Arvin, it's interesting that you said that about like kind of like the how you say
code
the difference
switching?
between not code switching. The difference between
code switching. We can talk about that all day.
We could talk about that if you want. We could go into that. But I was gonna say I was gonna say like how you would perform in the field versus how you would perform in front of a professor, because I don't know if you remember this, Andrew, but do you remember when we were testing VO2 maxes in one of our classes, and they made us like pull out the stethoscopes on the treadmill and like following them around with stethoscopes in our ear, like trying to like
I think I remember that, yeah.
calculating pulses, and then like our whole class was just super upset, like why would we ever do this realistically with a client? If I'm training a client, I'm not gonna follow them around with with stethoscopes and like the blood. So basically we were trying to calculate VO2 maxes for our athletes for like I think it was fitness assessment, and we had to follow them around with blood pressure cuffs, headphones in, or the stethoscopes in, trying to take their pulse while they're on the move, while they're jogging, while they're taking a light jog. And I just remember that being like, why would this be a thing? You know what I mean?
I do think there was a lot of moments like that in the course that just didn't translate well in the real life. You know, and in real life, right? Like to run around with being even a stethoscope, like running around with a stethoscope instead of a a good life. You just look like a psychopath, right? Like, let me hear your heartbeat. You know what I mean? Like,
does that
you
actually
don't want
happen
that.
though?
Like, I've seen some crazy stuff at the gym, but no stethoscopes, really, not yet.
No, thank God.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Andrew, you say how you're in the fitness industry as well, right? You were a certified personal trainer?
No, currently still certified personal trainer.
Okay, so you are. So how do you balance your life around your business and being a fitness trainer? Let's say
I'm honestly, sorry, go ahead.
Let's say in the future when COVID is done, how do you think you would find that balance?
I mean, before COVID, what I just did is when you're on, you're on. When you're off, you're off. I think like just in general in any industry, you can't be on all the time. And also, who do you want as a trainer? Do you want the guy who's just tired and exhausted, bumbling when they're counting reps, all that stuff, or do you want the guy who has high energy, taking vacation, super rested, focused? So I think I learned that from I think there was like a base camp seminar thing I did when I first started it, and one of the guys, his name's Naswani Buffo. You may have seen him on A Good Life ad or so. He was kind of been like my model, like role model to follow through the fitness industry, because like he's super busy at a young. I think he's at Young and Dundas, so a super busy club, running the whole show, a bunch of clients, and he just looks super relaxed. Like he doesn't look stressed at all. He has a family. He's doing it all, right? But he has the work-life balance. He's still playing golf on Sundays. It's so about the work-life balance, and not, once again, it's very similar to Instagram, not just running around chasing chickens, like to really have a game plan there and follow it, right? Be strict, because the clients will respect that. They actually might respect it even more. It's just like taking a girl out on a date from Tinder. Like some girls actually want you to be a little busy. They don't want you to be like, anytime, I'm ready. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, hey, when do you want to go on a date? It's like, yo, right now. Like sometimes they kind of like the fact that they're being scheduled in such a way. So I think like the clients also appreciate that too. It's like going to a busy barber versus a barber who's just like ready for you all day. Like you probably want to go to the busy barber, because the busy barber usually signifies, usually a correlation between busy and successful usually. So you want the barber that's super busy versus the barber who's just ready for you at any moment of the day. So I think that all just translates into just being just an overall better person and not burning out, because burnout is real. Like, I've burned out many times in my life. I've been working since I was like 15, worked a bunch of jobs, McDonald's, Shoppers, Costco, all that craziness, and I burned out way too many times. And burnout's not fun, and it honestly takes a really big toll on your mental health. To the point where I didn't want to go to Costco for like a year after, like, I had like Costco PTSD, right? So yeah, I think not burning out, and then you won't hate your job, your life will be great, and everything just will, be in equilibrium.
Nice. Do you have any advice to people who want to start a small business? What's two advice that you would give?
To start a small business, start small. So that's one big thing. And I would say take the courses. I think a lot of people, even in the personal training world, like, a lot of people are afraid to invest, or any world really, to invest in like the education to learn. I know there's education's free out there, but even if you're on a YouTube channel, and like I follow Minority Mindset, like, he's awesome on YouTube, and he just teaches about finances. But the problem is, like, when you're learning that course, like, it's everywhere. It's not organized, right? So even to take a small course that maybe hopefully costs not too much, like hopefully less than $1,000, that will save you time, because the amount you learn in like, $100 worth of a course, and it maybe takes you like a couple of weeks to complete, will save you like a year. And I'll give you that confidence, because the confidence is what starts the momentum when you're starting small. And anything, everyone has that imposter syndrome when you start off as a personal trainer. And that's actually why I went to school for fitness and health promotion, because I didn't want to feel like an imposter when someone was asking me something other than the quadricep. Because the Cantor Pro course is just like, they barely even break down into like the calf, like what is the calf muscle. They just kind of call the calf. It doesn't go any deeper than that. It's very superficial. So I wanted to go to school so I'm able to answer and do those questions, especially in the field, so I feel confident doing my job, happy doing my job, and I'm able to actually help people properly, and not just be like, oh, okay, your knee hurts? Cool, we're just not going to do any lower body for the rest of the time we're training. I see a lot of the trainers, no shots fired, but a lot of the trainers just like do that because they just took a weekend course, or they barely know anything really, and they're just running around as imposters, basically just lying to clients, which is a whole nother issue. But yeah, and obviously the personal training industry is a little bit unregulated, so you are going to get a lot of people just out there being all fugazi, just making up some BS.
Yeah,
that's true.
All right, I don't want to get you in trouble here, so but do you have any bad client stories?
Yeah, I won't drop any names. How bad are we talking? Are we talking like,
I'm just curious, what comes to the top
clients?
of your brain when I say that?
I'd say in terms of like weird clients, I have clients who just like buy a whole year and just never show up. So there's that. That just blows my mind, because personal training is a lot to just like drop that amount of money and just be like, all right, cool. And then like they're like, like I feel like they think buying personal training is enough. I'm like, you got to actually go. You know what I mean? But I think one of the worst ones is when I first started. Like, it was just, and this actually has to do with work-life balance as well. Like, she was kind of like, I always wanted to be that trainer, especially at the beginning when I had no clients, that I was free. I was open. I'm like, hey, message me whenever. But she took that literally, and like literally messaged me like any time of the night, called me all day, complaining, crying. Like, I became her everything. And I had a girlfriend at the time too, and it became a lot. And it kind of had a fallout. It felt like a breakup, not gonna lie. When I kind of just passed her on, I'm like, you know what? I can't handle you. Like, it's too much. And one great advice I heard from one of my old managers, she said, like, if you can't go take one of your clients out to lunch for an hour, you probably shouldn't be training them 3 times a week for a full year, because that's going to be a lot of hours that you're going to be seeing them. So if you can't even handle a 1-hour lunch with them, like, if you don't like them enough, or you guys don't mesh well enough to do that, you probably don't want to have too many of those in your roster, because it's not going to be a fun time for either of you guys, right? The personalities don't work well, or even the schedule. Yeah, so that's probably one of the worst ones in terms of just basically ruining my life.
Jeez.
Yeah, that one was pretty stressful. That's when I first started. After that, everyone's been pretty good. I got most of my clients on my own. Like some good lives, they kind of distribute clients properly. This Good Life was cutthroat. First 6 months was just like do or die. You don't get paid if you don't have clients. So first was a little bit of a struggle, but I started getting the rhythm, and it was kind of nice that I didn't get spoon fed, because I learned how to sell.
Yeah, for sure. People should not take that statement lightly, that you got clients on your own, because that's that's.
But I noticed the difference though. Like other trainers who have clients that they got from other people, you can definitely tell that there's it doesn't look as natural. It looks kind of forced. It's like a blind date versus the ones that I've had them for 4 years now, and we've got each other on Instagram. Like the relationship and the rapport is just out of this world.
For sure, for sure.
I got a question, and I'm very curious because I have my own takes on this. But
okay,
as a fitness professional, and in terms of social media, like what is the thing that irks you the most seeing, like info wise that's put out there? Like when you see it, what kind of like turns like a gear in your head that like why are they doing that? Why are people falling for this? Why is
I'm about to roast this post so hard.
but without going into everything, because there's a lot wrong. It's the false claims of carbs being super bad. It's the one size fits all prescription. The only one size fits all prescription that I could say for everybody in terms of nutrition, because usually the fitness professionals usually go more towards the side of making outrageous nutrition claims. But I would say the only one size fits all advice that you could always believe is drink water. Everything else after that is it usually ends up becoming BS online. Like it becomes very strict. It's like, if you don't have this many carbs, you're gonna die. It's very dramatic. And people fall for it, right? Because people's brains look for that kind of information. But that's what started beef at Be Well, because I'm like, people are like, I can't have carbs after 7, I get fatter, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, you don't gain weight, right? Or, targeted fat loss areas. I'm like, you can't target an area, and you're still trying to explain to them. And you're like, oh no, but like my friend lost weight. I'm like, okay, that's probably how their body's designed to lose weight in that area. Like everyone has their own areas, male or female, different hormones and things like that. But yeah, the carbs is just, I think that one just kills me the most, because like people demonize like blueberries. You know what I mean? Like to be demonizing blueberries, and they'll demonize blueberries, but then they're eating, freaking Sour Patch Kids, and it's just like, it's like, where's the disconnect here, right? It's like, oh yeah, fruit has a lot of sugar, but all of a sudden they're having freaking fuzzy peaches, and I'm like, what the hell? Why can't you have some blueberries?
Or a real peach.
Or a real peach, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Like why can't you have these things? So I think that's the part that irks me the most. And even like the eating after dark, like just basically the old myths that have been perpetuated for so long. I think those irk me the most, because like I have clients I'm literally fighting, like I've had for like 3-4 years, to try and change their beliefs on those things, right? Like they honestly believe that like if they eat after 7, they're going to gain more weight. And one analogy to clear the air for that, if I give you $5 at 12 p.m. and I give you $5 at 7 p.m., it's still $5.
True.
So that's one of my analogies that I tell them to kind of debunk that myth. In terms of nutrients, obviously all calories, obviously they're all calories in, calories out, CECO. However, there's different qualities of calories, right? And obviously one's going to fill up. So once again, the $5 analogy, if there's a jar, right, and there's $5, what's going to fill it up more, a $5 bill or $5 in pennies? Right, and that's the pennies would represent eating more nutrient-dense food that would fill you up, versus the $5 bill, right, will represent maybe a McDonald's meal that won't fill you up, but it's still $5. So it's still a unit of energy. So I think like just breaking down to the bare basics, the bare minimums, helps people debunk the myth almost themselves, because they're like, that makes sense. Like, $5 is still $5. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of the analogies I came up with.
Those are good.
Because usually, when like within the past couple of months, some of my friends have been asking me for like workout advice, nutrition advice, and I'm kind of helping them be like here and there. And like the way, like a lot of them are just like I want to lose weight. Like how do I go about that? And I told them, like, I'm gonna be real with you. You're not gonna lose weight unless you're in a deficit. Like that's just straight up science. That's fact. Yeah. You can overcomplicate that. You can oversimplify that even. Like I told them, like, the way I kind of visualize it for them is to kind of think about their calories as like a budget, you know, like
Same here. I do the same thing.
I gave you like a $2,000 budget for like a $2,000 calorie just BMR, right? So I told them, like, hey, you can spend like, I don't know, like $1,500 on a pizza, right? But then you're kind of left with not a lot of money after that, or not all the calories. So like when I equate the two, it kind of helps them, like you kind of see like the gears turning in the head, like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But like they're still lingering of those old beliefs where, okay, like if I eat past 7, or I can't eat rice at a certain time, or I have to time my protein in at this time. Yeah, your pizza or a burger. I'm like, hey, like I don't know how to like explain it to them because they're still stuck in the old beliefs, right? But it's just crazy to, like, when you hear like the whole, or when you said how to explain like the whole pennies versus a $5 bill, it just makes so much sense. And I wish I could have explained that to them because I feel like that's a better visual. But
yeah, I'm a pretty bomb with analogies, and it helps for sales as well, and just getting behavior change going. I took psychology for a little bit at York, and then I left. But
but he retained information, so it's fine.
Shout out to Sigmund. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's the biggest thing, is just, and once again, people not taking it to extremes. I think there's a lot of polarity in any industry where it's like either this or that. Like, why can't there be a comfortable middle? Why can't you find that comfortable middle for yourself? Because if you ate what I ate, you might not like it, right? If, you know, if you don't like sushi, or you don't like blueberries, why the hell are you forcing yourself to eat it? You know what I mean? There's so many other fruits.
Yeah.
And I have some clients who get so nitty, they're so obsessed that they're coming to me, they're like, hey, I don't have spinach, but I have bok choy. Is that okay? And I'm like, is it green? Yeah. Is it leafy? Eat that. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell? You know, why are you going over bok choy? You know what I mean? Like, why? I hope I'm saying that right. I'm saying it right?
Yeah.
You're good.
Pronouncing the buck too hard. But you know, like, it's like, why are we fighting over lettuce right now? I'm guaranteeing the bok choy didn't make you fat, unless you deep fried it. Like, it's not what made you fat. It's not what made you have these bad habits. It's like, why are we fighting over the small things? Like, let's focus on the bigger things first, because the bigger things are probably what keeping you in the rut, right? Like maybe bad drinking habits, bad eating habits, binging. Try and work through some of those aspects, and not ask yourself, oh, which leafy vegetable can I have? Am I allowed to eat? And I'm like, you're allowed to eat any freaking leafy vegetable that you want. Like, I'm not going to go into detail. Like, you want iceberg lettuce, eat iceberg lettuce.
Yeah.
All right.
For sure.
It's so amazing to hear someone else like just say that. Oh,
it's refreshing. Trust me.
It's so.
Yes, for sure. All right. So, Andrew, so fitness, would you say that started as a hobby? Real quick.
To be honest, fitness, back in the day, like, I was like anti-fit, like the complete opposite of it. Actually, one of my best friends from 3rd grade, he was trying to force me to get into the gym, and we actually stopped talking. That's how much he forced me. Like, we just stopped talking for a little bit, and then eventually he was in the gym, and he hurt himself, and then I got back in the gym, and now he doesn't work out. But yeah, essentially, what got me into fitness is just to be better, right? And then once you learn that once you build more muscle, you get to eat more. I was like, all right, I'm in. You know what I mean?
I'm in.
Yeah, if I get extra, 300 calories to spend every day because I have a bit more muscle on me, I'm like, cool. Yeah, that's what kind of got me into it. And it's just been a good stress relief, and it's been fun, and that's all I talk about most of the time, to be honest.
Nice.
Sure. All right. So, my question to you is: so, candles was a hobby turned into a business. Fitness, you got into that, and it turned into your career as well, like something you could live off of. So, what do you do that's not those things? What's your favorite hobbies to do?
See, that's the thing. Every time you turn your hobby into a business, you kind of just become like hobbyless, which kind of sucks. And you want to say a hobby that's kind of cool, but not like super lame. But I honestly, I think my hobby and pastime, sadly, right now is just Netflix. I like going for hikes.
That's good.
Walks on the beach. Nah, I'm playing. But yeah.
long walks on the beach, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. This isn't a Tinder profile, but yeah, just watching some anime. Always loved anime. At one point, I didn't want to watch it because I thought I was growing out of it, but like, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna watch this shit till
No. You never grew out of anime.
Yeah, and hopefully I can speak Japanese by then. Traveling is a
Ooh.
hobby, but can't do that right now.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, sadly, fitness is kind of a hobby as well. Yeah, my hobbies are I'm pretty boring.
Nice. Nice.
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know if
boring?
you come across as boring to anyone here. Man.
Right.
I
Thank
think
you, thank you. I
Definitely
mean,
not.
music's also a huge thing in my life. Like I listen
Oh,
to
right.
music all day long. I
Mhm.
believe in the power of
Mhm.
music. Music has gotten me through some crazy stuff. So like, yeah, I love music. I listen to all the genres. That's what got me into DJing. But then doing it as DJing made me not like music as much because I used to download music every Friday back in the day illegally. You know,
LimeWire
Bear and all
days.
that, LimeWire, YouTube
YouTube
converter.
MP3.
Yeah. So I did all that stuff. But I noticed I used to every Friday. I used to wake up super happy, especially the payday Friday, and I'd be
Mhm.
downloading all that stuff. But then I realized I'm like, yo, you know, like I'm not doing it as often. Once it became like a chore, I'm like I just started doing it once a month, and then
Yeah.
in turn I became like a worse DJ, because
Mhm.
like now like I wasn't as hip or knew all the crazy songs I used to know because I was avoiding downloading new music and listening to music. So yeah, I think music is definitely my hobby. Like literally every Friday morning, I'm just gonna wake up. Like tomorrow morning, I'm gonna just wake up and listen to
Nice.
just a whole bunch of genres. And I listen to when I say every genre, pretty much every genre, even a little bit of country sometimes.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's when I code switch, right? That's when you learn how to code switch. When you listen to country.
True. All right.
Yeah.
We're gonna put you in the hot seat here. Top 3
Okay.
animes right now,
Top 3 right now. I'm gonna say.
and there's a
FMA.
wrong answer. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, I'm gonna say FMA. Brotherhood was super sick.
Nice.
Naruto. You got to put that up there.
Of course.
Shippuden, of course.
Yes.
And sadly, I guess Attack on Titan. I don't know. I'm still on the fence about Attack on
All
Titan.
right. We would like to welcome a new member to the
Wait.
Hammer Out podcast. He is officially a regular here.
Why sadly?
I'm a little conflicted. I don't know. Like I feel like Attack on Titan. It's great, but it's not. I don't know if it's top 3.
Ooh.
Fair.
I feel like it's
yeah.
not as consistent. The
That's a
storytelling
fair.
is good at some parts, but I feel like it's it's up and down.
Mhm.
Fair. Okay. Okay.
That's fair.
Yeah, I love it though. Like you know what I mean. And the freaking plot twists and betrayals are like the best I've ever seen. Like in
Facts.
any freaking pop culture, like the betrayals and the way they build up. You're just like,
Yeah.
what? You know what I mean? Like every
Mhm.
moment, like every season had. I don't know. Obviously, no spoilers, but every season had that moment where you're like, oh
Mhm.
damn. Right?
I agree. For sure.
Yeah. Hey man, as
Yeah,
long
I'm
as you
top
didn't do
3.
Black Clover, I'm okay.
I'd say Parasite. So Parasite for sure. I love
Oh,
Parasite.
Parasite. Yep. Definitely.
Mm.
Parasite's really good.
So you know.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, Parasite's
Wow.
sick.
Yeah, he's the 5th member of High Morale.
Yep.
Yeah.
Welcome. Thanks.
What?
guys.
Fourth?
Hey,
Fourth. Yeah. Patrick who?
Fourth.
What?
Patrick who? Okay, I also have another question. So last year the pandemic just started, and then over the couple months we had a major lockdown. How did you keep your sanity while in lockdown? What did you do to just keep yourself entertained and stuff like that?
Netflix.
Netflix. Nice.
Like I rated Netflix. Like I haven't dived so deep into Netflix in my entire life, just because I was straight up just not working at all. Netflix, I caught up on years of sleep, like just, decades of sleep I was missing. Because back then in McDonald's, I was working like 23-hour shifts.
Jeez.
Illegal, but yeah, I was working 23-hour shifts. Like no exaggeration, literally 23 hours.
my God.
So yeah, I was catching up on sleep from the age of 16. Once I finally got back up to 2020, I'm like, I just started just doing a bunch of little vlogs, not vlogs, but like literally like Snapchat diary pictures, like I'm stuck in a cave, like day 26. Then after day 28, it wasn't fun anymore. Quarantine got pretty boring fast. Like it was fun at first, Also, just after quarantine kind of extended, I'm like, how could I better myself? I started just going more to myself. Like, okay, yes, this is time to work on me. Especially my finances at the time are pretty trash. So I'm like, let me pay off some debt. Let me just get focused on myself and level up.
That's good. Yeah, that's good mentality while having while being into the pandemic. Do you have any advice for people that are still suffering right now for that?
Yeah, for people just suffering the pandemic, I mean, make the best of it. Like, make plans. I think making plans is huge. Dressing up, whether inside your house, obviously in your house, but like if you are, I would say go for a walk. Say, Ford, don't at me, don't tell this to Trudeau, but go for a walk. And some people literally think it's illegal to breathe air outside. So I think just doing something for your own sanity, because at the end of the day, it's your mental health. And to just blindly follow the government's every single, rule of the media's every single scare, I think for me, it's just that's what you really deteriorate, because you're putting your happiness in someone else's hands and your well-being, and then that's just a dangerous place to be, right? So
that's true.
You gotta take control of that and do what you gotta do. Like, you accept the times. Like, I think a lot of people, like, it's the resistance of accepting where they are, and then opportunity is where you are, not where you were or where you're going. And I think a lot of people who are still scared to be on camera, even myself, like pre-pandemic, I would never do this, right? So pandemic kind of got me out of my comfort zone in that way, to jump on here and be talking so freely and not be talking like a robot reading a script. So I think just do whatever keeps you sane, and don't be ashamed of it, whether you're progressing or you're just chilling. Like, just enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like, I think some people are thinking like, oh wow, I should like be doing this right now, and I should have worked this, and blah blah blah. Like, what are you doing right now? Okay, cool. You like it? Keep doing it. If you want to rewatch freaking Dragon Ball Z, or that brings you happiness, do it, because it's a little bit of survival, right? Like, I'd say, or a little bit and a lot of survival, and the light at the end of the tunnel. Like, what are you gonna be doing after this? Like, maybe imagine a little bit. Like, hey, you want to do a big vacation? Okay, cool. Start saving up for it. Start working some side hustles for it.
For sure.
Learn a new language. Hey, why not?
Yeah.
Everyone always says they want to learn a new language. I'm like, learn a new language right now.
Yeah.
It's your time.
Right now is like the best time, because we have a lot of time, right?
Yeah, and then when you come back out, you're gonna be the most interesting person, right? You guys freaking started a podcast, like, when people are talking to you now, you're like, shit, I got a podcast, high morale, like, what's up, right? And the same thing too, like, you're gonna walk differently when you have like new new things, and you become just more interesting and more confident and everything, right? So I think this is a great time to just do that, like, build up those experiences, build up those traits, step outside of your comfort zone. Everything's a bit slower paced right now, which I like,
Yeah, for sure.
Including traffic, but I don't really like that much, but everything's a bit slower paced. Like, step outside your comfort zone, fight your demons. I think this is a really great time, if you can. I mean, everyone's demons are different, of course, but you got demons, childhood trauma, try and work that out, get some therapy, do whatever you got to do, because like, this is a time to like grow. Like, I think this is a growth time, like, and it's a time that no one else has gotten in the history, like at least the last 100. Technically right now, it's never happened before, because if this happened 100 years ago, I'd be cheesed, right? Because there'd be no webcam, there'd be no Wi-Fi,
True.
I mean? For real.
For real.
Like, why is nobody appreciating that? Like, why is nobody like just happy that like Bluetooth is like witchcraft back then? I probably would have died if I showed up with these. You know what I mean? They'd be like, what? This guy's talking to himself. So I think just appreciating like what you have, and just appreciating the relationships you have. If you feel like you don't have that many relationships, start building some, and it could be in so many ways, right? Gaming communities, social distance walks,
Yeah,
for sure.
I guess one of our final questions is, once this is all over, what's next? What's next for Barnswell? What's next for DJ Barnz?
What's next? I guess hopefully be in physiotherapy in the next 5 years. Let's put in a 5-year increment. Once they give the official release, I'm gonna hop on YYZ Deals or Flight Center and try and book something nice.
Hey,
Where you going?
I just got into travel. Honestly, I've been to Japan already, so I don't want to go again just yet. I kind of want to go to other places before I start revisiting the same ones. I don't know, Europe. My girlfriend's from Portugal, so I gotta see where she's from, and then after that, go to South Korea.
Nice. Yes.
Definitely gotta hit up South Korea, Thailand. I just want to be everywhere. Australia's been a thing, but kind of scared of insects, so I might put that. Yeah, I heard it's not that bad, but I don't want to find out for myself, because I'm gonna need something to. I'm gonna need something like high power to kill these insects.
True.
You know what I mean?
True.
Nice. I like it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess we're just about wrapping up here. Where are we at? Like 50 minutes? That
50
was
minutes, yeah.
Nice little tight convo right there. Andrew, I'm glad you came onto the podcast to speak your piece, I guess.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks. It's been awesome. I'm down to come through again. One by
yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, I know. Yeah, time flew. But yeah, I definitely would love to have you back here. You were a great fit, I believe, for one of our first guests. And
Yeah, you guys are
honestly, yeah, I
solid
agree.
hosts.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you
I love
so
the
much.
questions. They're all in different sectors too, and I can go philosophical next time too if you want to.
For sure.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
definitely
Let's
do
do
that.
it. I love those conversations. This was just
I'm
the
down with it.
introduction. Part 1.
Yeah, all right.
Part one of our Andrew series. Is there anything you want to plug? Anything you want to shout out?
Anything.
Yeah, we got like cozy candles this weekend. We got check out our page. Got a virtual
Sure.
sale going. It's a little different this time. Trying to adapt to the times. We're actually like doing a virtual live, where we're actually talking to you as if you're shopping with us. It's a little confusing, but it's not just going to be as boring as just looking at a page. You're gonna get some real live interaction.
Okay.
Yeah, so come check us out and yeah,
For sure.
give us a follow.
I know I am.
I am.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys having me on here.
Yep.
We appreciate
That's
you,
all.
We
honestly.
appreciate you, man. We appreciate you. All right, that's it for us over here at the Hammer Out Podcast. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Hopefully you learned something, and hopefully you had that high morale feeling. And we'll see you guys on our next episode.
Thank you
guys so much for watching.
Thank you,
and yeah.
Andrew. Thank you.
And thank you, Andrew.
Andrew.
All right.
All right, guys.
Peace.
I'm
Peace,
with Mike
peace.
Jordan. Take care.
Peace, guys.
Later.
This guy left call. He actually left the call.